Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another very exciting Adobe Live. I am your host, Jesús Ramirez, and with me today we have the amazing Amina El Kabbany. Hey, Amina, how's it going?
I'm great. How are you, Jesus?
I'm
Thanks
doing
for having
fan.
me.
I'm sorry?
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so
Yeah,
excited to be
yeah,
back.
yeah. Thank you for joining us again. We had a pretty good day yesterday where you showed us how to do an amazing composite with a highway to a new reality, I think is what we were calling it, which was a really, really wonderful message, but also a really wonderful composite. Before we get started, I would just like to say hello to everyone joining us in the chat. I see a lot of familiar faces already. Of course, Cody there, who's going to be helping us out throughout the stream. We have Darius, Sean, Valdir, as always. Hey, good to see you, Valdir. Clever, Andrea, Eric, Claudia from Print My Soul, Richard,
Hi,
Sam.
Sam. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we get started, I would like to take care of a few housekeeping items. First, let me switch over to my screen so that I can show you the Daily Creative Challenge page, the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge page. Oh my god, I had so much trouble saying it yesterday. I'm having trouble today again. I haven't had my coffee yet. That's probably the issue. We're talking about that off camera. So yeah, in about an hour and a half, Amina and I are gonna go through the Daily Creative Challenge submissions that you guys are working on right now. Paul Tranny worked on a really cool design this morning, and hopefully you guys have enough time to submit it within the next hour and a half so that Amina and I could review it. If you don't know how to do that, it's very easy. You can go into behance.net/challenge/Photoshop and click on the community chat link, which will bring up the Discord page. On the left hand side, you'll have the current challenge tab, and you can submit your work here so that Amina and I could check it out in about an hour and a half. So make sure that you do that now. And I know that Cody Bear is posting the links in the chat if you don't want to type them up. Also, if you're watching from YouTube, make sure that you switch over into behance.net/live so that Amina and I could see your comments. If you're commenting on YouTube, we cannot see it. So again, behance.net/live so that we can see your comments. Also, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We're in the San Francisco Bay Area. Amina, you're in Oakland, I believe, correct?
Oakland.
Oakland,
Yes.
California. And I'm in San Ramon, California, which is, I don't know, about 20 miles away, give or take. So we're practically right next to each other. We're really not next to each other, even though it looks like I could reach over and touch her. She's really not next to me.
Yep. It's a optical illusion, everyone.
Yep.
So,
Awesome. And also in the chat, we have Cody Bear just posted the link to Discord. So make sure that you click on that so you can join the community and submit your work. And talking about the community, I'm just going to switch the screen and hopefully you guys can hear me because I know we had some audio issues when we switched the screen yesterday. But I just wanted to briefly mention that this is a safe spot. There's a lot going on in the world today. And just know that this is a safe community for everyone. We want to make everyone feel welcome. So just know that we stand behind you and that we stand against any type of social injustice or racism or anything like that. I don't know if Amina, you have any words you want to say before we move on?
absolutely. Yesterday I touched on a lot of what's going on right now. If you're not in America, just to let you know, there's basically an uprising going on. We're really excited to come together as a community and just stand together against racial injustice and police brutality and really change the course of history for the better. So I'm really proud to be in the Bay Area right now. Thousands of people gathered in San Francisco yesterday to show solidarity for all of the families who have lost their loved ones to police brutality. And we are hoping to change the narrative. We're hoping to really make a difference. So I'm so excited. And yeah, just please, if you can, please donate to causes. Look online where you can sign petitions. Uh, all we are in need of so much support, and everybody counts. Everybody's voice
Mm-hmm.
counts. So please use yours. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much. So I know that Amina didn't really have a lot of time yesterday to showcase some of her work and do a proper introduction. So why don't we do that today? Amina, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself, who you are, maybe show us a little bit about your work and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jesus. So, hi, everyone. My name is Amina El Kabbany. I am a photographer, digital designer, as well as a musician here in Oakland, California. And
Do you sing?
I'm
Do you
really
play an
excited.
instrument? What do you?
So, I sing and I am an amateur musician. So I'm learning the synth right now. I really want to learn the piano as well.
Mm-hmm.
Back way, way, way in the day, I played the flute. So I think it would be really cool to incorporate into, more modern music. So I'll be sharing more about that in probably the next coming months. But yeah, that's what's been bringing me like joy and peace lately is just being able to channel my energy into music and visuals and kind of connect the dots between all of like my processes here.
Mm-hmm.
I also love to write. So I'm kind of like a Jill of all trades, you would say. But what we're going to be focusing on today is digital compositing, which I like to call digital collage. And I consider my collage practice to be like a streams of consciousness type of um, process. And so what I mean by that is I kind of just allow my mind to wander through whatever platform I'm using. Today we'll be using Photoshop. So what I really want to focus on is the intuitive process of creating a visual description that will kind of show like how you're feeling. It's a staple of the moment, all of everything that I make, I can remember how I felt when I made it. I can remember the exact time period in my life, what was going on in the world, and when you are actively creating, it I like to see it as free therapy. I think it's really important to have an outlet to express yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this has been for me, to kind of create new worlds to exist in, to commemorate my favorite memories, to build new realities. So, yeah, that's kind of the focus of my work. And I consider it art alchemy, really, taking the energy, whether it be rage, joy, uh, any energy, any emotion that I'm feeling and be able to transmute it through my art practice has been huge. So I'm here today. I really want to share that process with you all so that you're armed with the tools to really just have an outlet to express yourself and get any emotion out. We don't want any emotion or energy to stay stagnant within us. We want to be able to direct that energy into positive change and to just be able to move it properly. So that's what this is all about today. Yesterday, we focused on building a landscape that we can all, kind of get behind, a world that we can all be happy and proud to be a part of and build together. And so I can actually pull up what we did yesterday. I haven't finished it, but I plan to very soon. So let's open quickly what we did yesterday to kind of see.
And while you do that, I see that in the chat, Fel wants me to say hello. So hi, Fel.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I know there's so many places you could be right now, so I really appreciate, you know, everyone being here. And thank you, everyone, for somebody said, oh, Mensa said visual jazz. Yeah, I definitely resonate with that. So, yeah, I'm really excited to show you guys. So, here is what we did yesterday. I kind of began implementing some of the like phrases that I wanted to include in this, and here you see kind of like a freeway headed into this new reality. This landscape here kind of represents like the matrix crashing. The programming that
Mm-hmm.
we are currently in is crumbling right now. So we're leaving, we're out of here, and we're leaving behind what we knew. And I kind of wanted to allude to the car caravans, the car protests
Mm-hmm.
that were happening in Oakland recently. I wanted to kind of like play off of that. And since there's a full moon on Friday and an eclipse, I think it's really important to really just close out this chapter. And we're gonna head out and also out of this chapter and into a new one, out of this reality and into a new one. So we're headed towards newness. We're headed towards a world where there's free real estate. We're going to head towards a world where there is equality and justice for all immediately. There's no question about it. Everyone can pursue their passions, their dreams. That's the world I want to live in. And I hope that's the world that you want to live in too. So that's what we're focusing on. And today we're going to kind of create a portrait. Like, imagine that we're honing in on this new world, and I will be creating a portrait of a good friend of mine, Shami Oshun, who has an incredible brand that you can check out at shamioshun.com, SHAMIOSHUN.com. She is a designer who prints fashion with a 3D printer. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
It's absolutely incredible. She's been featured on BuzzFeed, Essence, Vogue, InStyle, Teen Vogue, all of these things. So I'd love for you all to check out her website. And I just kind of want to show you a bit about what she does, because I think it's literally the future, thinking about how innovative she has been and how on top of the trends. And, it's just really impressive to me. So she has printed all of this with a 3D printer, fashion, and it's so cool. So I just really wanted to uplift and amplify her and just say that people like Shami are the future. And that's what we're focused on. We're focused on building a future. Let's see what else. Ready to wear. Let's show some of that. So she 3D printed, this whole outfit.
Wow.
It's insane. Well, actually, I'm not sure if it was that one, but let's show you this bev bag. She makes this is what is 3D printed. Sorry, everyone. And also uses like UV. So this is like a UV changing bag. If you go out into the sun, it's originally white,
Mm-hmm.
and if you go out into the sun and it's exposed to UV light, it turns pink. And so most of these are UV sensitive. It's like the
Super
coolest thing
cool.
in the world.
Super
So
cool.
imagine, how we can use that type of innovative thinking to create new realities and just get creative with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we'll be focusing on a portrait I took of her. And, back to kind of show you everyone who wasn't here yesterday, I'll show you a little bit of my work as well. We'll just go through some of the pieces to kind of give you a glimpse of, how I have channeled my dreams into these visual pieces right here. And kind of, I just try to infuse everything I make with an intention, whether it be to bring peace of mind or to just be something that I can mentally dive into when I want a quick escape for a moment, and what's important for me with this is like I have been, in less than favorable situations where I'm just like so antsy and want to exert my energy in some way. And, I've been outside of an emergency room waiting for a
Mm-hmm.
loved one. I've been outside of a jail, trying to like figure out how to channel my energy and bring myself some relief, some self-soothing emotional like platform. And
Right.
so using Photoshop and collaging, compositing has been that relief for me. So what I hope for you all today is that you all leave with some tools for self-soothing. And I'll show you as well a little bit of my photography, just so you understand. I mostly use my own images in my composites,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can, really just, it feels more personal that way. And I just really love to see people in the best light and kind of show them that light back to them. I really want to show everybody their power, that beauty and power exists within all of us. And the more we can see it within ourselves and others, and the more, especially in others, the more we can see it in others, the more we can see it in ourselves. And that's so important to me and has been a huge part of my practice, just seeing the beauty and power in everyone that I have, you know, had the pleasure of me meeting and being around and experiencing joy with. And, even photography like this, like, brings me so close to the people in my life. So I'm just grateful to have these tools to create.
Cool. And
Um,
by the way, shout outs to Michelle Kabbany in the chat saying hi Amina and hi Jesus. Hey Michelle, and I believe that's
Hi,
your mom.
Michelle. That's my mom.
Yeah.
Mom's here again. Yeah. Thank you, mom. Shout out to my mom for always supporting, my craft, always encouraging my artwork. Also, shout out to my dad, his family, well, my family in Egypt are all artists. And I saw someone here in Cairo. My family is in Cairo, so that's really special. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I just
Awesome.
really try to invoke joy and power in my photography. And, really in life, I think that everybody has a unique perspective, everybody has, something to contribute. And it's important to tap into that because that is what we're meant to be doing in the world, tapping into our passion, tapping into what brings us joy and will hopefully innately bring others joy as well. That kind of passion really resonates and projects outward, I think. So this is some of my travel photography I really appreciate, and I use a lot of this in my compositing as well. I kind of look at it as a scavenger hunt, like different visual elements I can use. I love like, you know, the more nighttime photography and like darker environments because I can do much more layering with that. But back in a few years ago, I was just like bouncing around left and right, and it's it was just such an experience to put myself in front of all of these places, like to think that I stood here in front of these places to even take these photos. I had to be there, and that
Hmm.
blows my mind because you know I personally, I don't think my memory is that great, but I through these photos, everything I can recall vividly.
Hmm.
I can
Yeah.
take myself exactly back to those moments. So that's really special to me.
Yeah. And Mohammed says, yes, Cairo. Love your work, Amina.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. So nice to see you here. Wow, that's so awesome. So yeah, thank you everyone for being here. I think we can get
All
started.
right, we're ready to roll. While you're
And
switching screens, I just want to remind everybody about the Daily Creative Challenge Review. We're going to be doing that in about an hour and 10 minutes. I'm sure Cody Bear will paste the link in the chat so that you can join us on Discord. Make sure that you click on the current challenge tab and submit your work there because I know that at least I don't want to speak for Mina, but I'm sure she's also excited as I am to see the work that you create and
I
we can
am.
talk a little bit about it. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure that you switch over into behance.net/live. Again, behance.net/live so that we can see your comments. Because if you're commenting on YouTube, Amina and I cannot see them. So make sure that you switch over and we can check out your comments.
Yes, please do. I'm really excited to see all of your work. So today I will start. I like to start with a black background. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
just going to go ahead and fill that with the color black here with this paint bucket tool.
So I
And
have a question for the chat. Because you were talking about yesterday, and correct me if I'm wrong, Amina, that you
mhm,
you just see things better when the background is black, correct?
correct.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm wondering if anybody here prefers a different UI color than the standard gray. Does anybody make it the darkest gray? Does anyone here have the lightest color? Like what works for you? Let us know in the chat. Cool. Sorry about that, Amina. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I've seen a lot of Photoshop videos where people work on a white canvas, which is
Hmm.
fine. But I think for me, because I work with like specifically when I'm looking for photos to use in these composites, I'm really looking for like visual elements and
Hmm.
not necessarily the full photo itself.
Hmm.
So I focus on the part of the image that is illuminated and highlighted, and I kind of utilize those resources to uh, to build a puzzle with. So, like for example, if I were to use this, I would probably erase everything other than the illuminated highway here,
Hmm.
as well as I like to work with a lot of neon, and even here you can notice that what I'm attracted to is really just like the
Hmm.
images that are starkly contrasted that I can really isolate an aspect of
Hmm.
and utilize that portion.
Cool. We're,
But yeah, I
we're
like to
getting a
just
lot of answers in the chat. Cody Bear, Alberto, and Maximilian like the darkest gray. Steve is a medium gray kind of person. Dark is too hard to work with. I agree with. I actually prefer the medium gray as well. Darkest gray for Bamikale. Yeah, everybody. It seems that a lot of people like the darkest gray though. I haven't seen anybody with the lightest gray yet. Cool.
yeah. Yeah, I think that it helps me imagine like negative space better. I
Mm-hmm.
associate a white screen with positive space or like space
Mm-hmm.
that's already taken up. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
kind of
definitely can't
prefer
do the
this.
bright screen. It's either medium gray or dark gray for me.
Right, right. Yeah.
And
All right.
actually, I just thought about something. Do you mind if I show something silly for just a second, Amina?
Yeah, please do. Of
Let me
course.
switch over to my screen and show you because for those of you guys that don't know what we're talking about, if you press Control K on Windows, Command K on the Mac, you bring up the Preferences panel, and then under the Interface tab, you can change the layout. See that? See how I'm changing the layout? So this is the one I can't work with. This is way too bright for me. I prefer this one. A lot of people in the chat prefer this one, like Cody Bear, and a couple other people like Jenna. And the silly thing I wanted to show you guys is that if you hold Alt and Shift, which is Option and Shift on Windows, and excuse me, on the Mac, Option and Shift on the Mac, and click on the color theme icons, you'll switch the icons into toast. And see that? See how they're little toast bread? And if you hold Control Alt and Shift and click on those icons, they switch over into little coffee cups. So those are two little Easter eggs that were included in Photoshop because the engineers are hungry, I guess, because you can probably see the other Easter egg here in the tools bar, which is a banana. So a lot of the Easter eggs inside of Photoshop are food based. So I'm guessing that the engineers are not getting fed at Adobe. So that we should be concerned about that. Anyway, that was the one silly thing I wanted to show you guys. Amina, we're back on your screen.
All right. So I'm going to start with kind of deciding which image I would like to use of Shami. We've got a few here. We've got that one, that one, that one.
Cool.
Yeah, I like really enjoy all of these because they feel like that post apocalyptic energy
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
it really fits with my color palette that I tend to use. So, and also like this is a through a window and it has a reflection of a neon sign already. So I think it fits the theme as well. So I think I might go with that one. But if anyone wants to weigh in on which one they think I should work with, feel free. I'm
Yeah,
still kind of just
let us in the chat.
deciding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to run through them again so they can check them out?
Yeah, I'm gonna run through them. So here's the first
All
option. I'll
right.
call this one. You can comment like
One,
two,
two.
three, four, or five.
Ooh, I got two favorites.
Yeah, which ones?
I like 1 and 5.
One and five.
Yeah, let's see.
Oh,
Uh,
there's also six.
oh,
Sorry,
six.
guys.
Okay, there's also 6. Cody Bear loves the neon one. Neon one as well for Maximilian.
Okay. Is that this one?
Jenna 1 out of 5. Cody Bear number 5. Steve 3. Alberto 3.
Cody
Oh,
says, never mind, I like six.
I see a lot of threes. I see a lot of threes. Maximilian, Alexandra, and RB. Emmanuel
Yeah.
likes 2 and 4th pink lit one. Michelle also number 3. Uh, Emmanuel number 6. Karen number 3.
We've got, okay, I'm going
Andreas
to
number 3. Yeah,
consider it between 3 and 6. So let's narrow it down, everyone. This is 3
yeah.
and this is 6. What do we think? Hi, Julia. Welcome.
We got Julia Masowska, who's going to be streaming right after us. She's doing an Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge right after us.
So awesome. All right. It looks like 3 is
It looks
the
like 3.
one.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one I originally
Well, then,
decided on in my
awesome.
head. So that's cool. I mean, sometimes I second guess my decision making, but
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fun to have everyone weigh in as well, you know?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
There we go. So I like that. That's great. So I'm going to position that there. And now we can just kind of start building, really. All right. Let's see here. So because I want the focus to be on her, I'm going to create a layer mask and I'm going to kind of just remove all of the unnecessary visual information around her. Maybe I might leave the buildings in the background because I like what it adds, as well as the car. It kind of gives you context about the environment. So yeah, we're gonna use the brush tool. And this is my favorite tool, pretty much like my main tool that I use to I come from a painting background, so removing like just giving adding and subtracting is like how I view everything. And so I remember when first got into painting, I was like I would always get so frustrated because I would add too much
Mm-hmm.
first, and it's really hard to like take away when you've already, added so much brightness. So I really learned that less is more, and like to build slowly with, darker colors first, because you
Mm-hmm.
can always go in and brighten darker colors, but I feel like it's much more difficult to like bring down or darken brighter colors, at least with like this may be untrue. I'm actually thinking in terms of like colored pencil, but I kind of use that same principle here.
Yeah, well, it's
So
definitely much harder to bring out the detail in shadows than it is to conceal them by making a bright image darker. You know what I mean? So making
yeah,
an image darker is easier than making a dark image brighter. That I know.
right. And in terms of like color balancing, like as a photographer, I've also learned that like, to always shoot like with a lower ISO,
Mm-hmm.
because you can always, bring it up, but it's much more difficult for my photographers out there to like bring out the details in a blown out image that's too bright.
So,
So, yeah.
question from Alberto regarding the brush tool that you're using is that he's asking, do you keep your flow at 55 or do you go up and down when needed?
I kind of go up and down as needed. And someone else asked, Jeffrey asked, how do you decide between horizontal and vertical orientation,
Mm-hmm.
landscape render on a composition at 1080p or 1.4 phones? So this is 1080p vertical. I personally, I like vertical better. I think it's much more fun to
Mm-hmm.
like build on top of,
Yep.
but it's really just personal preference. Like I kind of think of whenever I'm making these composites, I view everything as if it's like a movie poster. But the funny thing is if it was a movie poster, I would still have to make like a horizontal version and different sizes, different variations. But
Mm-hmm.
for some reason, I really love the vertical, and because most of my work lately has been for digital consumption and everybody's on their phone, the vertical works better. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and you have to
Yeah.
think of your outputs. Like, for example, you just mentioned your phone, but so someone who is I guess it becomes more difficult when you start thinking about like the different types of outputs. For example, if you have an output like a phone, like maybe like an Instagram story where the it looks better if it's portrait. But then you're also thinking about, well, I want to share the same piece of art like in a different medium where the horizontal output might be better. You kind of have to sometimes. What I do is sometimes have my main design in mind, and that's what it is. But then since I always work non-destructively with layers, then I start moving layers around so they fit the output that I'm going for. I don't know if that makes sense. So I have like the final piece that I intended, but then since everything is out of tool inside of Photoshop, I move things around so they match the output that I intend to use.
That does make sense. Yeah. And feel free to, add more questions, and yeah, let us know what you think. I right now I'm kind of just looking for environmental factors to add in to kind of play off of what we did yesterday that I will be also adding to. So I'm imagining these two pieces as the same universe, the new reality that we've created, we're there. So that's kind of the
Mm-hmm.
stage that I'm setting. We are in the new reality. So maybe I'm thinking of the moon as the like on the other side of the portal we created,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in the distance now because we've landed on a new land. So maybe
Nice.
we can use something like
I like
this
that
where,
idea. Super cool.
yeah, and kind of just think of it as very far off into the past now. But I'm not sure if that will translate here. Let's just play around with a few options. So anytime I'm making a new composition, I'm just really going with the flow
Right.
and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. I
And
think that might be not distant looking enough.
And thank you for
Maybe
the
we can add
reminder,
some.
Cody Bear. In about 1 hour, we will be going over your Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge artwork. So make sure that you join the community on Discord and submit your work. The link is in the chat, bit.ly/PS Discord. So check it out.
Yeah.
We have a question from Emmanuel. He's asking, do you ever use the selective tool? I'm guessing he's talking about the quick selection tool, I would assume.
Is that these?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
typically, to be quite honest, but if I were to be, cutting more, like as if it was, I kind of, it's interesting because I do so much layering and painting, but I don't do like cutouts very often. And for some reason, I think it's like my process. I prefer to just kind of paint and go in that way. And I'm not ever really too focused on details unless it's a very specific request from a client. So I can see how it would be useful, but it's never been like natural for me, but I do hope to explore more tools here soon, eventually. I just, for me, this is just like a process of clearing my mind. So I try and keep it as simple as possible. But if I were more concerned about, the nitty-gritty details, I would very, very likely use the quick selection tool and place pieces. Maybe I'll try that today. Let's see here. So,
Question from Jeffrey. It says, well, actually, there's a different question before fell. What other option, not only planet and universe, can we play? Okay, so what besides the planet or the universe? What else can we place in the sky? What else could make a great concept? I don't know. Maybe you can
that's
think of
great.
of suggestions, Fel, or in the chat. Let us know what other ideas would be good. I think in this case, we're trying to tie back to what we did yesterday, which is using that portal, and now you want to make it seem like it's behind us. So it's a whole concept coming around together.
Exactly.
And then do we have Behance? Jeffrey wants to know if we have a Behance account. I do. It should be in the description there. I don't know if I'm assuming you have a Behance, Amina?
I do have a Behance, everyone, and I really need to update it. So soon you will be able to find my work there. Definitely if you're watching on YouTube later on after the live, I will be adding so much work there. I'm really excited to update it. Most of my work right now lives on my website, aminaelkabbany.com, as well as sorry everyone, I just disconnected my
Uh-oh.
headphones. We're good.
We're good. We're good.
As well as my Instagram. So you can find most of my work at my
Cool.
website, and you can find my Instagram through my website as well. Yeah. All right. So yeah, feel free. Okay. So back to the question of what else can we add to the sky? We can add anything.
Anything you want.
Anything. Like you are all welcome to contribute to this conversation as well. The topic is, designing new realities. So I would love for us to collectively decide on, what to add. So here we are at adobestock.com, and this is where I'm sourcing images from. It's a really helpful tool. Let's see if maybe we can find a portal that feels like the other side of the portal we created yesterday. So maybe
Cool.
on this side of the portal, it is like bluer because the moon was red, and maybe it's an opposite universe. Maybe it's a parallel universe where justice is served. And what's interesting about that is, NASA recently announced something like that, I believe, that they discovered some sort of parallel universe. Like, maybe that's a conspiracy, but I like to believe that that's the truth. So yeah, I mean, on Adobe Stock, you can really find anything. And if anyone has any ideas of what I should be searching for, I think I looked at this yesterday and I was like into it. But I kind of use this as a mood board as well, like to get the energy of what I'm trying to convey out there. So let's see here. Right. Do we have any aspiring designers in the chat? Anyone who is a photographer or I mean, you're all, I'm sure, here to learn about Photoshop, so you all must be designers. But I want to know more about you all, what your dreams and aspirations are, as well as what you hope to do. You know, in your ideal world, what would you be doing? What would you be focused on if you could focus on anything you wanted?
And while you're answering that, I gotta address a comment by Emmanuel. He's saying, "BRB, be right back. Gotta go grab my pizza, but I'll be asking questions. Feel free to send slices over to Amina and me. I'm sure that
Please.
yeah, at least one slice. We'll take a slice each.
Please, yes. I could go for some pizza, like always. Pizza, I think, is my favorite food,
Yeah, me too.
actually.
I like pizza a lot, but I'm very basic. I just like pepperoni and cheese. But I love pizza. I actually stopped eating pizza for almost 2 years because my first job ever was at a pizzeria, and then I just ate pizza every day, and then I started
Wow.
not to like it. So for about 2 years, I didn't eat pizza, but then I love it again.
That's hilarious. My first job was also at a
Oh,
pizzeria.
really? Where at? Because we're
Oh my goodness. Okay, everyone, please don't drag me, but my first job was Chuck E. Cheese.
mine was Little Caesars.
Wow.
Did you
Good
grow up in
times.
Oakland?
I grew up in Sacramento,
Sacramento.
actually.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't know when you moved to Oakland, but for those of you who lived in the Bay Area, especially specifically Oakland, I used to work at the Little Caesars inside the Kmart in Oakland. It's no longer there. The Kmart's now gone. That was my
Wow.
first job ever.
Look at us now.
Yeah, look at us now.
Look at this growth.
Yeah.
You know, it's really cool. I also want to remind everyone we were in a little bit of a conversation yesterday about, just getting started
Mm-hmm.
with doing what you want to do. And, really I just want to reiterate that practice makes perfect. You can only achieve your dreams by working towards them every day. And my friend Shami, the model that we are working with today, we had a really beautiful conversation yesterday, actually. Okay, maybe I like this.
Oh, well,
Let's see.
Maximilian says that his first job was a Domino's delivery driver back in the UK. Awesome.
Ooh,
Yeah, let us know your first
awesome.
jobs. Everybody, let us know what your first job is. Oh my God. No, you cannot. We cannot add pineapple on a pizza. What? No. No, I'm just kidding. You can add whatever you like. Actually, Howard Pinsky, who runs the XD Daily Creative Challenges, we had pizza together, and he added pineapple to his pizza. How dare he?
How dare he?
Shout outs to Howard Pinsky. I don't think he's watching now, but he's often streaming. He's an Adobe evangelist for Adobe XD. Good friend of mine. Oh, it says Michelle Kabbany. My first job was a Straw Hat Pizza.
Yeah, what was your first job, everyone?
Alberto, his first job was a cafe place in Aventura, Florida.
Wow, awesome.
Cody Bear wrote, oh man, so many comments I lost what Cody Bear was saying. I love pineapple on pizza, and Howard's awesome. Yeah, Howard is awesome, except for the pineapple and the pizza thing. Besides that, he's an awesome dude.
Wow.
No, no, just kidding. Just kidding. It's funny because like a lot of close friends of mine really like pineapple on their pizza, and I just never did. So it's always been like a thing. Like, oh, I can't believe you're putting pineapple on your pizza.
Yeah, I mean it's really a divide between people, like
Yeah,
pineapple on pizza lovers against
yeah,
non-pineapple
yeah.
on pizza lovers. Yeah. Okay.
Pam's first job was babysitting, then retail, and Alana used to work at a sushi restaurant as a hostess.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi, Alana. Thanks for coming.
Michelle's first job was at an ice cream parlor. Jeffrey's first official job was a barista at the local coffee shop. Awesome. I'm wondering what the
Very
unofficial job was. That's probably more interesting.
Yeah.
My first teenager job was working in people's yards with a bunch of Mexicans. That's for Eric Sue. In Oh wow, Fel is saying that in Indonesia they eat pizza with rice. Interesting.
Oh, by the way, welcome back, Marissa. Nice to see you in the chat again. Marissa says, I hope with my photo and artwork to inspire people to tap into their inner strength. We can heal our outer worlds by healing our inner worlds. Thank you, Marissa. Yes, yes, that is perfectly like exactly why we're here today as well. That is my hope as well. And that's so beautiful to hear that that is your intention too. I think that that's so important, self healing, I really think is like the key to everything, So, like, I really believe that our existence is a projection of our inner worlds. And you're right, Marissa. If we can heal our inner world, we can heal our outer world. So,
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for commenting that.
yes.
We have people who worked at Sea Life at their aunt's pharmacy, Forever 21, Emmanuel. Worst job ever. Vanessa saying pineapple, pepperoni, jalapeno is the best combo pizza. Oh man, I'm such a bad Mexican. I don't like spicy food.
Really?
I don't like spicy food at all. Yeah.
Wow.
And I don't like beans either. Yeah.
Wow.
My mom
That's
says
okay.
my mom says that when I was a baby she would try to feed me beans and I would just slap it away.
Oh my goodness. Who else here was a picky eater growing up?
uh
I definitely was.
and also I don't like chocolate. To me it tastes so bad.
Whoa.
Yeah. Julia
I love
worked at
chocolate.
a video rental store. What are those? No, just kidding.
Oh my gosh. That is giving me flashbacks. I
for
miss you,
for
Blockbuster.
those of you that live in the Bay Area, there's still a video rental store in Alameda on Park Street. You can still go rent DVDs if you want to in Alameda.
Yes. All right. Let's see here. So I'm not sure if this is syncing with what I've been. Oh, yeah, they are. There we go. So let's see here. I kind of like the idea of framing Shami with a cool, like, aura there. So every time I do a new layer, I bring down the opacity to just kind of see what it would look like on top of the original layer. That looks kind of cool. What do we think?
I like it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with that. So I'm choosing that image. Let's add that there and let's add a mask to kind of erase the additional information that we don't need. Cool.
People are saying, Michelle's saying, no chocolate. I die without chocolate. Yeah, I just never
Me
liked it. It's
too.
just one of those things I never liked. Yeah, Angela's saying the same thing. Wait, what? You don't like chocolate? Yeah, people. It's always weird when I tell people, yeah, I don't eat chocolate because it's just like the thing that everybody eats, I think, and I just never liked it.
Hmm. I mean, we all have our preferences. It took me a long time to figure out, my preferences when
Mm-hmm.
it came to food. And, I just kept developing my taste as the years went on
Mm-hmm.
and trying new things one thing at a time. And I think that's what it really needs to be sometimes. Sometimes we just need to give stuff a chance.
Yep. And just a reminder, everyone, in about 45 minutes, we will be doing the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge review. So make sure that you submit your work into our community Discord page. The link is in the chat now. If not, you can go into behance.net/challenge/Photoshop. And then in the step number 2 option, you'll see the link to join the community chat, which will be Discord, of course. So make sure you submit your work. We'll review it in about 45 minutes.
Yes, we will. I'm so excited. Please submit your work. I can't wait to see it.
I agree with Jenna. Jenna's saying that she loves the halo, and I do as well.
Thank you,
I
Jenna.
think it works well also with the lines on her jacket. It kind of adds to it.
It does. Yeah, there's a lot of line work going on. I'm going to have to kind of work with that.
Yeah.
Let's play with all of these geometric shapes here. Hi, Valentine. Thank you for being here. Hi, everyone. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Angela. This is really exciting. I've got a lot of the homies here today.
Oh,
Thanks so much
nice.
for being
Hey,
here.
hey, homies. Rolling with the homies.
Yep,
Um,
here we are.
that reminded
So,
me of the movie Clueless. Rolling with the homies.
oh my
I know
gosh,
I'm dating
that's a
myself
great
here,
movie.
but Clueless is like how old now? 25 years probably. The movie. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Rolling with the homies? No.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure if everybody has to go watch that movie,
Yeah.
actually. So, I'm going to just start kind of bringing in some of the words that I want this new world to emulate, and we can kind of keep adding design elements as we go, as well as, different words or phrases. I'm going to be, kind of creating my own little language here. So I
Yeah.
really like the word, honor and integrity.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe I can move around the word commitment too. So we'll start there. And yeah, a lot of this, I was just kind of like, I'm going to pick words from all of these different signs. And I like the idea of having tons of different, fonts and whatnot. So we'll add that. And I should just license that because I know I will absolutely use the word integrity. So did that work? There we go. Otherwise, how is everyone doing today? How's everyone feeling with, all of the intense energy that is going on in the world? I want to know if any of you have been active out in, the demonstrations and how everyone's feeling. I really am excited to, come together with more community and brainstorm what we can do for positive change right now.
Before we read those comments, I just want to read one past one from Julia that says, Jesus is weird. I would agree with that,
Whoops.
Julia. Yes, thumbs up to that comment.
Jesus is awesome.
Let's see. Vanessa's eating chocolate for breakfast.
Wow, that's awesome. I could definitely go for some chocolate right now. I've got my coffee here, which I wish was chocolate. Yeah. So, okay. Also, everyone who's new here, please remind me to use a layer mask because I always forget to do that. And, being someone who originally started editing these types of composites on their phone with apps that had limited resources with no layers, I'm kind of used to that. So,
Super cool.
yeah, we're just gonna.
Jenna's saying DC is pretty surreal. We have a question from Clement. Do you ever give your creations specific names?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to name my pieces, after I finish them. Mostly because I don't a lot of the time I don't really have a plan in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like where I'm going unless it's something for a client specifically where they've given me like clear art direction.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea ends up emerging later, which is fun for me because I kind of discover more about myself
Mm-hmm.
later on. Um, but yeah, I've titled a bunch of my images. I'm actually going to show you a few of those collages
Angela
and
says
I'll
that
tell
she,
you some of the names. Go ahead.
oh, sorry about that. Sorry for
No, it's okay.
interrupting. Angela says that she likes my weirdness. Thank you so much, Angela. I appreciate that. Richard saying, stop picking on Jesus. Yeah, guys, this is a safe place. No, just
It's a
kidding.
safe place,
No, just kidding.
everyone.
We're all friends. We're having fun. Julia
Yeah.
said, LOL. I know it's a compliment. Yeah, I took it as a compliment, Julia. Thank you.
Yeah. We all have a little bit of weirdness.
Yes.
So,
I think you're
yeah,
weird if you're not weird. If that makes any
exactly.
sense.
Exactly. Yeah. So some of these I'll tell you the title. This one, um, it's my higher self, my
Higher
best self.
self.
So I called this one higher self after I made it and kind of realized like, well, this is kind of the energy I want to emulate in my everyday life. Like that like fearlessness. It's like very like stark, and really I just want to channel like my best self, and that's who I think I channel, whenever I'm making art. It's like a really pure energy, whether it be music or these composites. It's just like my better energy. So that's my higher self. This
But
one
one
was for a
question,
client.
I have a question on the previous one. Did you take that
Yeah.
photo specifically for the composite, or was it just like a random photo and then you thought, oh, this will make a great portrait? Uh,
Right. So this was actually a collaboration between three friends. My friend Rosanna Romero. She did my hair and makeup, and I had this vision for like a post-apocalyptic kind of like energy to showcase. And so like a futuristic world.
mhm,
And so Rosanna kind of took that idea and did my makeup and my hair to kind of,
mhm,
it was like on the fly too, like just for fun. And my friends took Pure Wall, took my portrait, and I had the vision in my head with like ideas. Like I wanted
mhm,
it to be like a night setting and
mhm,
sort of like Blade Runner-esque. Um, and that it kind of emerged like I had all of these other elements already saved, and I just kind of started playing around and seeing what came of it. So it was partially like I had some idea of what I wanted to do, but it wasn't a fully fleshed out
mhm.
idea until it emerged by itself. So some of this, and this one here is a portrait of me taken by Christina Bakrevsky, a really good friend of mine as well.
Cool.
Amazing Leo photographer, spiritualist. She's wonderful, and I have a bunch of my own stock images of nature and flowers and whatnot. And this really just gave me like warmth. This is I I like the idea of like being able to draw light from within,
Mhm.
you know? So this one is called like Beam, self-love. I've titled a few different ones, different things. And this one here, like the title emerged after I made it, and I
Mhm.
called it Bed Piece after Janae Aiko's song Bed Piece. And I really the concept emerged after too. I didn't realize while I was creating it, but this really to me feels like something you can mentally dive into. It emulates, the peace and the privacy of the bedroom, somewhere that you can create your own world, somewhere that's a sanctuary space, somewhere that you are the only one who kind of can you really tap into your own energy in your bedroom. Everybody I'm sure can, relate. So, yeah.
Awesome.
All right, back to what we were doing.
And just a
I'm
quick
gonna
reminder,
go.
everyone, we have about 35 minutes before we do the daily creative challenge review. So make sure that you submit your work. I'm sure that Cody Bear will be pasting that link in the chat. By the way, if you're on YouTube, we cannot see the comments on the YouTube chat. So make sure that you go into behance.net/live, behance.net/live, so that we can see your comments. And also on the YouTube chat, I think we got moderators posting up the Behance link so that you could come over onto Behance and we can see your comments.
Yes.
Awesome.
Let's see. There was a question I really like as well. From Fell asked, "Do you ever make a project and are disappointed with the result, but for a long time you open that old project and get ton of ideas to remake it?" That is exactly, my process personally. Like I can't even tell you how many times it took, how many versions of a piece I make until I land on something I'm actually proud of. So each of these images you see here, these are the final result. But what you don't see is the 35 to 50 versions I made before I decided that these these ones were the ones that kind of emulate the energy that I want to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, absolutely. And I kind of I almost go crazy thinking about, getting an image right, getting a concept right, and I kind of work on it until I am actually really proud of it. So yeah. So if you didn't see that, I just licensed this aura photo that I have here. I'm just gonna call it
Cool.
that, the halo. And it immediately took away the Adobe stock logo, just so you're aware that is a thing that happens unless you rasterize it beforehand, I
Mm-hmm.
believe.
That's right.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and license this pink moon image too because I really like it. I decided that that is the one we are going to go with. Cool. All right.
There's a lot of comments on people liking your work when you were showing the website. So just want to, I'm
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Valentina. Awesome. Yeah.
Too
Oh, we've
weird
got
to
another
live and too rare to die. Nice, Maximilian.
That's real. All right. So far we've got integrity. I'm going to go ahead since I licensed this real estate image yesterday and
Cool.
also the free. I'm going to just add both of these in there. We're going to have free real estate in this new world, everyone. Yeah. That can go there. Where is the free sign? Honestly, everything should be free. I can't wait for the world to, be a world that operates on trade. Imagine using your skills to pay for what you need and really contributing in the way that, makes you feel free, makes you feel seen and useful. That would be really cool. I want to pay for my groceries with my art personally. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and make sure to add a layer mask on each of these images that I'm adding in before I forget. I suggest just doing it immediately so that
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to go back and undo a bunch of things you've done.
For sure.
Cool.
Always try
So
to
we've
work
got
non-destructively, if you can.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. All right. And then where is the real estate? There it is. Okay, great. Does anyone in this chat have any photos in Adobe stock? I'm
Oh, that's a
curious if
very
anyone is a
good question.
contributor.
Very good question.
Whoops.
We're gonna edit that out, and I'm gonna pretend like I'm asking that question because it's so good. Does anyone in the chat have? No, just kidding. That was a very good. I'm gonna steal that one for next time. So if you hear me say it, it's because I stole it from Amina.
I mean, as long as you credit me for my idea.
Yeah. You're gonna get like 5 cents every time I say it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's all I need.
But yeah, let us know. Do
Sweet.
you have anything up on Adobe Stock, Amina?
No, not
No.
yet.
Ooh.
I definitely will soon.
So like, you were one of these people actually. You mentioned you had, I think, what was it, 300,000 photos or something like that,
I have so much
like on your
photos. And
phone or something. You said, right?
yes, like 300,000 photos on my
Yeah.
phone. It's kind of crazy. And, it's just like, I need to organize them, like for real.
People are asking how to submit. Let me post the link on submitting to Adobe Stock. Give me 1 second. So what I recommend people to do is, if you have a whole bunch of photos that, they're obviously not like full on composites. It could be just like a picture of your dog or anything. Just submit it to Adobe Stock because you never know exactly what someone may use it for. I've downloaded all sorts of images. People are looking for everything and anything. So I would just submit it. Worst case scenario is, you make a few sales. So let me show you guys the link. I have it right here. I'm about to post it in the chat, and then maybe Cody Bear could just copy and paste it because I know mine is not a live link, but I'll post that in the chat now. So there it is. It's in the chat now. So yeah, so I would just submit anything that you have. Videos, it could be from your phone. Obviously, they have to meet a certain standard, but if I would just submit it. Again, they're just living in your hard drive. Photos of anything. Like I've sold a photo of I was in England and I just took a picture of like a random alley, like nothing special about it, just a normal alley. I didn't think anything of it. And that photo sold. I've sold like that photo 5 times. I'm like, why are people using this? Like, it's just so like random that people would buy that, you know. So yeah, submit your photos into Adobe Stock. You know, like I said, worst case scenario is you make a couple sales. Why not?
Exactly. Yeah, might as well. I mean, I can't believe I haven't yet,
Yeah.
is the crazy thing, because I have so many photos to contribute. I can't wait that to, take that next step and really um see like what people can
Yeah.
make.
So the question is, does it have to be
Yeah.
raw format? No, it doesn't. There's a couple specific. It could be a JPEG to answer your question, but it does have to meet a certain resolution, which I don't recall off the top of my head. But the standard is not as high as you would think, but it can't be low. So you check out the link that we posted in the chat. Thank you for reposting it, Cody Bear. It's actually live now that you posted it. But click on that link, and then you can just go through the process. And like I said, you can just dump all your files that you never use or open, and you probably may never see again, but somebody may be looking for something specific. Also, I know that there's a lot of regions where designers don't have a lot to choose from, because most of the contributors are either from the US, Canada, or Europe. But then there's places, for example, like Latin America, where the both people in the photos and the streets and things like that are not localized. So we need more of that. So it doesn't matter where in the world you are, just submit photos into Adobe Stock. So again, worst case scenario is you make a couple sales.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions about what I am doing right now? What if you do, I'm just kind of getting rid of all the hard edges to kind of make it look like these are just, floating. I don't know if I am super into this one though. It's kind of fuzzy and not as bright as the other ones. So maybe, yeah, and it's already full opacity. Maybe I'll pick something else, even though I do like the word power.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jenna wrote in the chat, I sold a pic of a random fruit 3 times. Go figure. Yeah, you never know what people are gonna buy.
Yeah.
But the composite is looking fantastic, Amina.
Thank you. It's gonna come together. So I really want to also, in this new world, I want it to feel like a sanctuary.
I don't know if this
where
was
everyone feels safe. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know if this was your intention, but you know the blue light in front of, and I'm sorry, I forget your friend's name.
Shami Oshun.
Shami Oshun. The blue lights in front of Shami, it kind of feels like that's where like the freeway is arriving from the other side. You know what I mean? Like we've arrived. I don't like, again, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's the feeling that I'm getting.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, but I remember when I took this picture, it felt like this is actually a neon sign, and I took the photo from behind a window, and in front of a neon sign that was in the window. And so that is, the remnant of the neon sign and the reflection of the neon sign. So I thought that was pretty cool, and a cool way to, implement this, especially since we're tying it together with so much neon. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, there's a couple questions in the chat about Adobe Stock. I'm not going to get into it too deep. I'm just going to answer them quickly here. How do you get the payment for your photos? There's different methods. I think direct deposit is one. I think PayPal is another. But all the information should be on that link. If we upload our photo into Adobe Stock, can we use it, or do they belong? They don't belong to us. No, they're still your photos. You're just licensing them to Adobe and then the people who pay to use them, but they're still your photos, and they'll never not be your photos. A question for me, what is your favorite work? RB, I don't know if you're talking about like my favorite like composite that I've done, or my favorite piece that I've done of mine. If that's a question, then probably, again, it sounds like I'm like promoting Adobe Stock, but Adobe hired me to create a piece for Adobe Stock about 4 years ago, and it was called the Make a Masterpiece campaign. I was one of 5 different artists who created a piece for this project, and it's on my Behance. You can check it out there. And the reason it's my favorite is because I didn't have a lot of time to work on it. I had about 2.5 weeks, which sounds like a long time, but it really wasn't. And like I worked on it till last minute. I even missed a flight to San Diego where I was gonna present it, just because I was up until the last possible minute and worked on it so hard. I've never done a composite with so many layers. It had over 1,200 layers.
Whoa.
It was about, I don't remember. It's in there. I think it was like 3 gigabytes or something. So it's on my Behance if you want to check it out.
That's wild.
Yeah. So just because of the complexity and the scale of it, that's why it's been my favorite.
Also, quick tip for everyone. If I'm not using any of these blend modes, you can't really see how well or not well I am like creating space for just the words to stand out. So now I can kind of go over and really see, like, if I really want to be specific about what I'm taking away from this, I would use something like this. That way I can just go in and really make sure I'm taking away everything that I don't want to be there. So let's just go in and make sure that
I have a question. I have a question for you, just to make sure I understood correctly. So you did that just so that you can make sure you took away everything from the layer, correct?
Correct. And then I would go back to normal. Just not that it will make a difference, but who knows, if I want to go and print this later, maybe it would show up in the print for some reason and I wouldn't want that. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal for these neon signs, because they are already on a dark background, and I will likely eventually take this into Lightroom because I like to kind of finish it off with Lightroom and making sure that all of the colors are in the same color family, really just getting the tones specific the way I want them, But yeah, like you never know if a shadow is going to show up, and it might not bother, the viewer, but it might be, it might bother you. So I know personally, if I catch something later after I've already finalized a design, I'm like bummed, So
Alana's asking, what's the name of the work called? Are we naming this?
This piece of work. Well, the topic is designing new realities. So I kind of like, I haven't officially named them yet, but the one we made yesterday, I kind of am calling just New World. So this one might just be, I don't know, like Dream World or something. Maybe all of you can help me name this piece because yeah, why not?
And there's a comment there asking me to name the piece that I was referring to. The one that I worked on it's on my Behance. There's a link in the chat and also in the description for the video, but it's called Lost Masterpieces by Adobe Stock, and that was part of the Make a Masterpiece campaign. So you can check that out in the link in the chat.
Yeah. Clement is asking, what camera brand do you shoot on?
Ooh.
I use Canon.
Nice.
I have a 5D Mark III, and I usually use a 50 millimeter lens, or that's like my go-to, or a 24 to 70 millimeter lens. I believe I shot this specific image with a 50 millimeter 1.4 aperture. It captures like light at night really great.
Super cool. Have you always been a Canon person, or?
Nice. I've always been a Canon person, and I
super cool.
I think I talked about yesterday how I was, a yearbook gal back in the day.
Super
so
cool.
I remember we all had the Canon T3Is in class, and I had that camera for years and years and years, and then I had a Canon 70D, and now I have the Mark III, and
nice.
I'm curious about mirrorless actually.
Yeah.
Oh no, what just happened?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was a Nikon person for the longest time, and now I switched over into Sony. So I have Sony A6400 now. So that's my first
Ooh.
mirrorless, and I really like it. Actually, that's the camera that is shooting this right now. So
Wow,
yeah.
nice. Okay, I am accidentally moving a lot of this. Here we go.
Cody
All
Bear
right.
has a T5i. Nice.
Sweet. Yeah, I think that's a great, like, it's just I love Canon. Like I love the color profiles because it's so easy to, you know, um like manipulate the colors from Canon.
Hmm.
So what I don't know. I'm torn between using this full image and the phrase take care of yourself or just self-care because I'm
Hmm.
thinking of this as a bunch of phrases, but I think I'm gonna make it self-care. I'm
Okay.
really big on self-care, everyone. So
Sounds good.
how do you all self-care? Let's ask about
Yeah,
that.
that's
How do you all self-care?
yeah.
Let me know in the chat.
Well, what do you do, Amina, besides creating artwork?
That's a good question. I like to sit outside and read.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to sit outside and read. Also, I'm forgetting, Jesus, maybe you can help me out. If I want to lock a layer, do I
Hmm.
just
Yeah, you click on the lock. Yeah, yeah. Keep going to the right, to the right, to the right, to that one. Yeah,
Ah,
there you
okay.
go.
So I want to lock this layer because I keep accidentally moving it. I think that's
Hmm.
the that right there. So yeah,
Yeah.
let's actually lock all of the layers that um I already know I like there. So this one is the free. I want to lock that one. Night view of the sanctuary. Yeah, I want to lock that one. Just so I don't keep accidentally, moving stuff around.
Now, if you want to be super fancy, you can hit the. You're in a Mac, right? So Command
Yes.
question mark to lock or unlock a layer.
Oh,
So obviously the layer needs to be selected, but
wow. There we go. Cool. Yeah, quick tips for everyone.
yeah. Command
Sweet.
question mark or Control question mark on Windows to lock and unlock a layer. And if you just hit the question mark without hitting the Control or Command key, you'll lock transparency.
Oh, good to know. This is super helpful for me. Everyone, even what's cool about this is, I mean, Photoshop specifically is that it can, be helpful for anyone. Um, like I personally, I've been self-taught in most of my crafts and it's super easy to navigate and intuitive,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so many resources that Adobe has provided that I really appreciate and I've learned, on YouTube University. So I'm still learning though, and no matter what level you're at, like we're always going to be students. We're always going to be learning,
Yeah,
so that's
for
something to
sure.
just be aware of.
You never stop learning. I'm a big proponent of school is never out for the pro.
Exactly.
Jenna says that she watches a live streams for self care. Nice. I'm glad we're
Sweet.
here for you today. Um, Eric says that he eats a lot of meat. Does that count? Hey man, if it makes you happy. Um, Joffrey self cares with chocolate. I definitely don't do that, but awesome. Surfing, awesome. I've never surfed.
Me
Um,
neither. No, actually, I did. I
oh, there
did.
you go. I'm sure it's in one of the photos in your website.
It's
Uh,
not. I remember I went to Hawaii a few years ago and
mm-hmm,
I met this girl at the beach because I was just alone and
mm-hmm.
she offered to take me out on her board with her. It was actually terrifying.
I'm sure. Oh
Don't talk
man.
to strangers, everyone, unless they seem, well, let me not advocate for talking to strangers,
Yeah.
but this girl was really, really nice and we clicked. We became friends after that day. So shout out to her. But that was my first time on a surfboard. It was a good time.
Cool. Cool. Um, Denise likes baking cookies. Nice. Emmanuel likes dancing, yoga, and photography. The day you
Nice.
stop learning is the day you start dying. Very deep.
Facts.
Facts. So we're gonna be doing the Daily Creative Challenge feedback in 15 minutes, everyone. 15 minutes. So make sure you check out our Discord page. I'm sure Cody Bear will be posting the link in the chat at any moment now. So head over onto Discord and click on the current challenge tab and submit your work. I think that Paul Tranny did a geometry type of composite today, so I'm super excited to see what you guys have created. Also, if you're watching us from YouTube, make sure to click over into behance.net/live, behance.net/live, so that Amina and I could see your comments, because we cannot see the YouTube comments.
Yeah, we want to hang out with all of you.
Yep.
Thanks again for being here. I hope that everyone is doing okay and, doing things for self-care. I don't think, did I answer your question about what I do for self-care? I think I said I read outside.
Yeah, you read outside.
Yeah, I like to read, take baths. I haven't taken a bath in a long time, but that sounds really soothing. And just really just getting out in nature and spending time with loved ones is everything. So make sure you're spending time with here I go again without using a mask. Okay. Make sure you're spending time with your loved ones and just in dialogue with them. You never know who needs to be checked on, and even just showing that you care by checking in is like a huge deal,
Sure.
and we can get really caught up in our own stuff, but
we got Sam in the chat. Thank you, Jesus and Amina. Amina, you are a true inspiration. Thank you so much, Sam.
Thank you, Sam. That's so sweet. Yeah, I really just want to use my voice to inspire everyone to love each other and take care of ourselves, like Marissa said earlier, if we can heal ourselves, we can heal our outer world as well. So self-care is like a huge component of that,
For sure.
Mission. Yeah.
Cool. Another quick reminder, 10 minutes before we do the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge review. The link is still in the chat. Make sure you click on the bit.ly link to Discord. 10 minutes, everyone.
All right. 10 minutes.
Cool. The composite is looking awesome.
Yeah, it's coming together. I'm going to add this little background. Maybe I can add it up top so we can see the world that is crumbling in the distance. The programming that is coming undone, the matrix that is leaving us, so if you are just tuning in, I'm sure we've all been here for a minute, but I want to also just reiterate why we're doing this is to inspire a new world that we can all agree upon, and be happy about, and a world where we're all equal, a world where we love each other, where self-care and integrity and free real estate are at the forefront. That is the world that I'm imagining. And while we still have a few more minutes, please feel free to contribute some ideas of what you'd like to see in the world. I think that it's really important that we all contribute ideas, because the more we imagine this new world together, the more potent it will be to actually change.
Cool. We have sorry if I mispronounced your name, Denise in the chat. Amina, you're definitely an inspiration as an architecture student. I've been experimenting with section drawings lately, and I'll definitely be using your tips.
Awesome. I'm so glad. Thank you, Denise. Yeah, I mean, it's so cool because even like everyone has their own, practice. And I think that what we're talking about, dream building a new world together, like that can be applied to any practice, whether it be architecture or design, like graphic design, or even if within your workplace, think about even hosting a meeting with your peers, asking each other, just checking in like on how things are going as they are, and opening a dialogue is so important to say, are we doing everything we can in our power to make sure that everyone in the workplace is equal and is treated well? You know, even just opening that dialogue, like so much can be revealed. So all of you, I urge to open dialogues with your workplace and make sure that the change that you like to see, that you would like to see, is actually being implemented and talked about, because we can dream about change all we want, but it's not real until we actually take action towards our new reality.
Awesome. We got two comments from Joella. The first one is, so my self-care is all about making my workspace ergonomic. That's a really good one. I need to work on that. And the second one is, love it, a world based on love for all humankind. Awesome.
That's what we're moving towards, everyone. We can't keep allowing people to be criminalized and targeted. It's not right, and it has gone on for way too long, and we need to be vocal about change until change takes place the way that we want it to. You know, we can't compromise anymore. We need equality for all. We need justice to be served immediately. We need to hold each other accountable, not only for, you know, doing things wrong, but making and taking action to change.
For sure.
I really like, okay, so this is crucial. The freedom of all is essential to my freedom. That I might just leave as is, because that is the main message of today, that freedom for one is freedom for all. And I really want to drive that message home, that the liberation of Black people is liberation for all. And that's what we're really fighting for right now in these times, is to, first of all, acknowledge what has been done to the Black community for hundreds of years, and the fact that we need to reckon with it and take action to make sure that change occurs, to make sure that everybody is seen equally. You know, it's the most important thing in the world to me right now, and I hope you feel the same way. I don't want to see anyone pretending like this isn't happening, that change isn't happening. And I'm really excited to build this new world with all of you together, because I just can't imagine how beautiful it will be when everyone is liberated and is equal. Oh no, here we go again. Erasing. Okay, so here we go, adding a mask here, and I'm just doing the same thing I've been doing. I am taking away this extra information that we don't need.
All right, everyone. One of the final reminders, 5 more minutes for the Daily Creative Challenge review. Make sure you submit your work onto Behance. I'm not sorry, not Behance, Discord. Submit it into Behance, but also Discord. Discord is where we're going to be checking it out. And I know Cody Bear will post that link soon.
I'm so excited to see everyone's work. This is coming together. What do we think so far? I feel like I want to add some more surrealistic elements here. I want to add, maybe we can add a ring of fire behind Shami as well. That could
sounds
be cool.
Yeah, that sounds really cool.
You know, really like emphasize the power that is happening, that's taking place, that we're claiming. Let's see, where do I want to put this layer? So I kind of want this layer behind that aura that we gave her.
So
the halo.
So Eric wrote, I went to a high school where most kids were Black. I was the one that was picked at and not having many friends. Just saying, it's a two-way street.
It is a two-way street, and that's why we're fighting for the freedom of all, you know? A lot of the time there can be bullying, and just know that, you know, I don't advocate for bullying. I don't advocate for the infliction of pain against anyone. But we have to understand that pain and anyone who's acting out, it's coming from a deeper place. There's so much behind, you know, behind anger and pain that people definitely act out unnecessarily. Not unnecessarily, that's a wrong word, but I'm sure you did not deserve any type of bullying. But the minority is always going to be, you know, treated badly, and that's why I want to not always treated badly. My words are getting mixed up, everyone. I'm sorry.
It's hard to
I'm
work
still
and think of complex thoughts.
right. Exactly. Yeah, I just really want to say that everybody needs love, and especially people who are acting out, acting out for a reason. Like there's there's not action without like in invocation, um, if that makes sense. If anyone can help me out with my language, I'm kind of like my brain is turning to mush a little bit, but I'm sorry that you were picked on, and that's why I think it's so important to make sure that everybody feels, equal and
Hmm.
justice is served, and we just hear everybody's plight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely. That Ring of Fire is looking really good on over her.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. All right. So,
So just a reminder, everybody, we have basically 2 minutes before we do the design feedback review for today's daily creative challenge. So make sure that you submit your work onto Discord. I see that Cody Bear has posted the link in the chat. Make sure that you submit it. We probably will have some time to come back, Amina, to you since I don't see too many submissions. So make sure you submit your
okay.
work so that we can check it out. But there's not a lot on here now.
Okay. It's looking interesting. I want to maybe see what that looks kind of cool. Yeah. Which one was that here? Yeah, it's very important for us all to treat everybody how we want to be treated, and the thing is that with everything going on right now, it's it's tough to act from a place of love. Like we we're just feeling feelings that have been suppressed for so long, I think. And yeah, like I want to encourage everybody to feel their feelings when they come. That way emotions are not suppressed and buried down. I'm not sure if that's necessarily working around her. I kind of think it's too busy, actually. So
Sean
maybe we're gonna put it over here.
Sean saying in the chat, my DCC is above Paul's. Thanks for letting me know, Sean, because usually I use Paul as my reference, so I look below Paul. So thanks so much for letting me know that you're above Paul, so I'll check it out.
Awesome.
Joella wrote, this is beautiful. Glad I caught this. Thank you, Alina and Jesus.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, or maybe.
Cool.
There we go.
So we got less than a minute for the Daily Creative Challenge review, so make sure you submit it now. I only see a couple pieces, including Sean's. I saw yours, Sean. Thank you so much for letting me know. And we'll be reviewing these pieces in less than a minute. And it looks like we'll have a little time to come back to you, Amina.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch.
Yeah, we can pause there.
Yeah, we can pause for a minute and let me switch over to my screen now.
All right.
There we are. And let me see. I was scrolling. Okay, so here we are. The first challenge for today, challenge number 8, is from Sean. And he created this, what do they call it? Like the impossible triangle, I think this is what they're calling it. So this is his starter file that he created, which is super cool. Really, really cool. and then he composited into this scene, which I think looks fantastic. It looks like you not only match the colors, but you added an overlay on top of everything to make it more cohesive, which I think is cool. A couple suggestions will be to maybe colorize the fog or mist. In my opinion, it just looks a little too bright and it doesn't match the rest of the scene. So I probably would have just maybe added a little bit of color to it, maybe like a red or an orange. Also, for everybody watching, you guys know this, I'm a big fan of adding just a little bit of grain to images to make them look a little more, or a little less digital. But that's just my opinion on that grain thing. You don't have to add it. But those are my thoughts. But overall, I think you did a great job. Really good job.
That's really fun. I love the tones.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And yeah, I wish I would have added a little more of those tones to the overlay for the fog. But something really cool that you did, it's super awesome, is you added that shadow in there. I think it looks great. It's subtle. I don't think it, like once you see it, you're like, oh yeah, it belongs there. But super good job on that shadow there underneath that.
That's great.
Impossible triangle. Anything else, Amina?
No, I think that's really cool. Maybe even the background in the middle of the triangular shape. Maybe we can see more of the bridge as it fades out into the distance. But other than that,
got it. So you're saying just bring
really
it down
like
a little bit? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. So let's see the next. So this is what Paul worked on. So I'll quickly show what Paul worked on this morning. Paul Tranny, evangelist for Adobe. He's running the daily creative challenges this week and I think last week. And this is a piece that Paul did previously using that impossible triangle. Awesome work, Paul, as always. This is from a couple days ago, the challenge here. I guess we'll review it since we don't have a lot of other pieces to check out. So the biggest thing with this one, in my opinion, is the lighting doesn't match that well. So the horse is facing one way. You can see how the light is hitting the horse on the left side, but the body has light on the right side. One thing that I could suggest would be just to do a lot of dodging and burning to sort of fake that lighting and try to make it match a little bit better. But as is, the lighting just doesn't match. Besides that, I think it looks fantastic. And one of the cool things that you did that I really like is that you left the Italian flag with its colors and the brand for the car in yellow. So we have the green, the white, and the red for the flag and the yellow underneath that. Super cool.
Yeah. I like it.
Any other thoughts, Amina? No worries if you don't have any others?
Not really. Yeah, I think that it's really fun.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much, H. Johnny, for submitting the Horsemen of Italy piece.
Yes.
Let's see. I'm not sure which of these challenges this is from, but let's check it out. Valentina. Cool. It looks like it's a floating castle, I think. Yeah, floating castle. I'll let you start with this one, Amina, since I always start, so I take all the good stuff first.
You did. Yeah, I love the use of, using the clouds to kind of prop up the floating castle. I think that's really cool. Maybe I would want to see a little bit more of the orange rays, like reflected on the castle, maybe light the castle the same way that the clouds are lit. But I really love how it just sits on top of that cloud there.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
The one tip I would advise is when you're working on composites like this, where your source images have different lighting, is just make a black and white adjustment layer on top of everything, so you remove the color and you just see the brightness of the image. And if you do that over this photo, I can guarantee you that castle is just going to pop because it's so bright. So then I would just bring down the brightness of this castle so that it matches the background a little bit better. I know it's sometimes difficult to see when you have color, which is why I like to create that check layer, quote unquote, to kind of just see the image. And if you can make a photo look good in black and white in a composite, then you'll definitely make it look good when you start adding color into it. So that was just basically a long-winded explanation to say just brighten up the castle. The second thing I would add is I would consider removing the trees from the background behind the castle, just because the perspective doesn't match. It just doesn't make it seem realistic. But if you're going for like a surreal, like not a quote unquote realistic effect, then I guess the trees are fine there. But those are my two suggestions.
Yeah, I agree. And also, something you could do if you were to make it more surrealistic, like if you really love the aspect of the trees, maybe you can just add that same texture in other areas,
Mm,
like maybe in
yeah,
the top and bottom corner, maybe that would unite the image and make it feel like, clouds and trees are kind of blending together. That could be cool.
good call.
Just
Yep,
a tip. Yeah.
totally agree. Thanks for that, Amina. Let's move down, and this is, I think, from yesterday's challenge, creating that retro poster. This is from Mariana. Thank you, Mariana, for submitting this. Amina, please start on this one.
Yeah. Okay. I love this flying car and the
Mm-hmm.
telephone, and it's really cool. You can see it kind of looks like, because you see the car moving towards her, and you see her driving towards the city, it feels like she's in the sky as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
love that added component for context,
Mm-hmm.
and putting the cityscape in front of her as well. It looks like she's like above it. So I love the perspective. It's so on point. I really
Mm-hmm.
enjoy this one, and the colors as well,
Yeah.
and all of the texture. It's super retro. I love it.
Yeah,
Great job.
I agree with you, Amina. The color is fantastic. Cody Bear's also talking about the color in the chat. And the color is great. Um, I really can't add much to what you said. I agree with everything, and it's a fantastic piece. But I will give one tip: if you're having problems with color and trying to figure out like what color should I use, a great resource is color.adobe.com, color.adobe.com, and that will take you onto this page that shows you the color wheel, and you have your different color harmonies here on the side, so you can select, for example, complementary, and you can see what two colors work well with each other. So this could be a really great tool for you to figure out what colors to use. And in that particular piece, I think it was something like green and like reddish or something. But anyway, you get the idea. You can come in here and see what colors work with what. And you can also save your colors by clicking on this button, which will save them onto your Creative Cloud library. And you can access them from Photoshop, Illustrator, or anywhere else you have access to the Creative Cloud library and the color swatches. So yeah, you remember to
So
use
cool.
color.adobe.com.
Wow. I
Awesome.
had no idea. That's an amazing resource. I
Yeah, that's
love
and that's
that.
yeah, it's an awesome resource. And I'm looking at the photo, and yeah, it's this aqua green and this salmon color. So that's more or less what I found there.
Mm,
See that? So that's a great way of figuring out what colors look good with each other if you can't
that's so
decide on your own.
awesome.
Um, let's see. We have, I don't know what challenge this is, but I guess we'll check it out. This is from Echo, and it looks like it's a Jurassic Park type of composite. Amina, I'll let you start.
Yeah, I think it's really fun. I love all of the color, like the color spotlight there right in the middle, leading you directly into the middle as your focal point. That's great. And this is so fun. I love all of the little dinosaurs around. The only thing that throws me off is to the left, the middle left is like a teal and a purple
Mm-hmm.
dinosaur. I don't think that those two colors are in the same color family of the bigger picture. And I think my eye immediately goes there. So unless that was the point, I would maybe stick with the more
Mm-hmm.
neutral, like darker shadowed, even the darker brown dinosaur right above. I think that would be fun to add some variety. But yeah, it throws me off a little bit. It's super fun though, and yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah,
What do you think?
I don't know if it was your intention, Echo, right? Echo, yeah. I don't know if it was your intention, Echo, but the two dinosaurs in the top right, um, if you wanted to make it quote unquote realistic, I would think a little bit more about atmospheric perspective. So I would probably make those blue, since the like the mountain back there is also blue. Then anything standing on it will be blue, Obviously scale is off, but I don't think you were concerned about scale in this scene. But based on your placement, I'm assuming that you're concerned about depth. And if you want to apply depth to a composite, then atmospheric perspective is something that you might want to keep in mind. So I would make those basically the same color as the mountain that they're standing on, so that it seems like they're way off in the distance on top of that mountain.
That's a great tip. I agree. Yeah, it's awesome.
Cool. Let's see what we have next. We have we have Ant, my entry for day number 8. Super cool. Amina?
Yeah, I think that that's great. The shadow is really on point. It looks like we see the light source coming from the right upper hand corner. So the triangle on the right is like the most illuminated, and then you see the shadow also coming from, maybe I would say, actually, now that I'm looking at it more, maybe the shadow, because the light source is coming from the upper right hand corner, maybe the shadow would be a bit more veered to the left.
Oh wait, are we looking at the same? Yeah, you're looking at the pink one, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Just making sure.
But I'm, yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if the object is floating and
Mm-hmm.
the light is from the right, then
Mm-hmm.
the shadow would be a little bit more to the left, I think.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could be wrong though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
But
for sure. So I hear what you're saying. So yeah. So this is. I mean, this is a little bit more complicated because he also
right.
added two. See, this is it. It seems like to me they're like two light sources behind the triangle. It doesn't seem like they're like, I don't know, like highlights or like lights shining on it. So I would assume there maybe there's two suns and that's why you placed the shadows where they were. If that's the case, then I would consider changing the sky so that we wouldn't have one side so much darker than the other, because now, as you said, then we would need to have the shadow more on the left hand side. So yeah, I agree with that, Amina.
Yeah.
But great job on the shadow. Like, you did something that a lot of people don't do, which is super awesome, which is you gave color to the shadow, like based on the actual object. Because if it was really casting a shadow there, it wouldn't be black like most people do. So, what make it. So good job on giving it a little bit of color that matches the actual object. So awesome work.
Yeah.
Ant.
Overall, it's really beautiful. I love this. It feels very surrealistic and like I could actually be there standing in front of it. So that's awesome.
Cool. Then we have 92 Chi, who made this colorful portrait of this young lady. I think it looks great. You used a lot of cool textures, a lot of cool colors. The green, the reds match, and the magentas match. So I think it looks great. And,
I agree. Yeah. Looks like a glitch portrait. I like that.
yeah. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but you either it was either in the original photo or you added it. But I really like the 5/1/98 date, so May 1st, 1998, or yeah. So it's super cool.
Oh yeah, that must be on
Unless
a disposable camera.
yeah, so maybe that date means something to you, which is super cool if you throw in a little Easter egg like that, or if it was in the photo and you added it, still looks cool. Or that could be January 1st if you're in Europe, so I don't know where in the world you are.
Yeah, I love that. That's cool.
Awesome. So we have an animation here. It's a 29-second animation. Let me see what this is. Cool. Oh, nice. So it's a floating island. Super cool. Oh,
For
nice.
some reason, I can't see it.
Okay, so it looks like the animation is less than 30 seconds, but it's basically like this. It's like a double exposure type of thing where like this liquid falls onto the screen and it reveals a woman standing in front of a floating island, which I think looks great. I don't have a lot to comment on besides awesome work, awesome idea. So yeah, excellent job on that one.
That is beautiful. Wow. I just downloaded it to check it out. And oh my gosh, I'm like, that's really awesome. They called it Dare to Dream, I believe.
Yeah,
What does
daring
it
to
say?
dream. Yeah,
Daring to Dream. Yeah, that feels very much in alignment with the themes today as well. That's really cool.
super cool. Excellent job. Yeah, no comments besides amazing work. Awesome animation.
Hmm.
Then we have a piece by Parth, and it's called Light Portal. It has this satellite, and it's shooting a laser through like some sort of portal, and there's an astronaut going through, and half of the astronaut is white, the other half is red. So I'm assuming that he's just crossing over into that other side. In some ways, similar to the theme we've been working with yesterday and
Hmm.
today. What are your thoughts on it, Amina?
It's super fun. I love that. I think it's yeah, it's very much in alignment with what we've been talking about, blasting through a portal.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that on the other side of the portal, you can see the astronaut turning red,
Mm-hmm.
to kind of show that it's like it's a portal, it's not the same on the other side.
Right.
So that's pretty cool. And I love the use of the ovals that
Mm-hmm.
I love the repetition of the oval
Yeah.
because they're all the same shape as the satellite, the
Yeah.
portal. Like it makes sense visually to me.
Yeah. The one thing I would suggest, and this is just, my opinion. So the astronaut is changing color when he's on the other side or she is on the other side, but the light is still the same color. So I might even change the color of the light to like really
Hmm.
show that when you're on the other side, things are different. Because
Yeah,
you
that's a good
already
point.
you already started with that theme with the astronaut, so I would just continue it with the light. But yeah,
Good note. Awesome.
good job, Parth. Um, I'm not really sure which challenge this was, but we'll check it out. We have, there's a lot going on here. We have a lot of words, a lot of lines. Artistically, it looks great. I think the use of color and those lines, and then the words and everything looks great. I really have no comments on how to make it better or worse artistically, but it's really cool.
Yeah, that's really fun. I love the color palette used and all of the texture, between all of the lines. That's really awesome and gives a lot of like it's like an optical illusion. Like I'm
Yeah,
trying to kind of reveal what words are behind it as
yeah,
well as, read it. And I think that's cool because the more I see all of the layers, the longer I want to like look and really see what's behind it. So
mm-hmm.
that's a great way to keep the viewer, with you. And
Yeah,
that's good art,
yeah,
the
for
longer
sure.
people linger.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
Great job.
Awesome job. We have Parth again with a composite. Super, super cool work, Parth. The first thing I'll say about this is basically the same comment I made earlier with the composite of the floating sky. It looks like the skull, especially in the eye, the eye where the waterfall is. If you look at those shadows, are way darker than any other shadows in the scene. So
Hmm.
I would just try to match the shadows to everything else in the scene. Notice that the shadows, for example, on closer to us on the left, they're just basically a matte black. So I would try to make it the same color so that it matches and the image feels more cohesive. Also, the brightness, same thing. The yellow is much hotter than the yellow anywhere else in the scene. So I would just try to match it just so that it feels like that skull really belongs there. Otherwise, it starts looking too much like like not an actual photo, which is what I assume you were going for. Because everything else you did here leads me to believe that great masking by the water. So yeah, overall good job. I would just focus on those little details, and I think it'll take it to the next level.
Yeah, I agree with everything Jesus said. And I really love the small detail at the bottom with the sign that says dead end. I
Yeah,
think that's really clever.
super
That's fun.
cool. I didn't. You know what? I didn't even see that. That's really really cool.
Hmm.
Really cool.
That's really awesome.
And actually, now that you pointed that out, I would change the shadow so that it matches the scene because now the shadow's going towards the skull a little bit. Not towards the skull. It's going to the left of the skull, but then you can see the light source is hitting the skull. It's coming from the top right, so then the shadow needs to go to the bottom left. But yeah, good either. I mean, I didn't see the dead end until you pointed it out.
Yeah, it's really subtle, and I love little things like that. Like I love personally when you're looking at an image and you kind of have to hunt for all the little details. I also noticed the what is it called? Watermark at the bottom right hand corner. That's really
Oh wow,
also
yeah,
subtle, but
yeah,
it blends really well. And
yeah,
I love that. Like I really can appreciate when a watermark is done
yeah,
well, that
yeah,
it blends with the image and you still, maintain your integrity by, who knows if people want to repost that image, but you always want to make sure that people can find the source.
for sure, for sure. Awesome work. And we don't have too much time, so we'll look at one more. This would be, I scrolled up. This would be the last one we'll look at. As this one is called abstract geometry. Wow, super cool work. It looks like we have one, two, three, at least three photos blended together by using geometry shapes, which I think is super cool. Free soup right in the middle, which I guess is a good message. Free coffee and donuts for the unemployed, I guess it says on top.
Love it.
Yeah.
We need that now. We need that today.
Yes, we
And
do.
well, full-blown meals, but
Yeah.
it's a start.
Yeah. Awesome work. Yeah, I have nothing. I think it looks great. There's nothing I would change. I think you did a fantastic job. And I'm also
Yeah.
wondering if the negative space for these geometry shapes spell something out, or there's some sort of meaning there. I'm having trouble seeing it, but maybe there is.
Yeah, I think that's a great takeaway. I'm getting ideas now to where, you can kind of like put hidden messages in a
Yeah.
piece and have people, figure it out themselves. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we have about 2, maybe 3 minutes before we leave, guys. I want to share the schedule for the day. Let me switch over to that. That's not the schedule. Oh, it looks like. Oh, sorry. It looks like I accidentally put the intolerance piece on twice, but I guess we'll talk a little bit about that since it's already behind us. I hope that this has been a safe place for you. If you have anything you want to share in the chat with us, we're here for you. I hope that everyone's staying healthy and safe. Anything you want to add, Amina?
Just more on, making sure that we're, people in your life who might not be aware of what's happening and might not be aware of how they can participate in building a better world for all, just open that conversation. I really want to encourage you to talk to your friends and your family about whether or not they feel like everyone is treated
Mm-hmm.
equally right now, and just really don't be afraid to talk about how you feel about it either.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time to be vocal and to have dialogue about, all of the discrimination, inequality, and, racism and hate that
Mm-hmm.
we are battling against. And it is a
Right.
real battle. I want to really emphasize that people should not have to feel concerned to
Mm-hmm.
leave their house ever. We
Definitely.
should all be safe and free. And that's what we're really fighting against. And I just really encourage all of you to join the battle, and any way you can, just think about what your strengths are and how you can contribute to building a better world actively. And that really comes down to the nitty gritty things like signing, petitions, making sure
Mm-hmm.
you are aware of political action that's taking place, making sure you're aware of when to vote, who to vote for, like making sure you're doing your own research and thinking independently
Mm-hmm.
outside of, what you think people are doing. Like make sure that you are well educated about anything that just everything. Like knowledge is power, and it is a tool for change.
Yeah,
So
awesome. Thank you so much for that, Amina. Let me quickly run down to the schedule. We got like 30 seconds. So we started
yeah.
the day at 7:30 with Spencer getting started in Photoshop. Then we did the Photoshop Daily Creative Challenge, which we just reviewed with Paul Trani at 9 a.m. Then it was us at 9:30 a.m. doing photo compositing with Amina El Kabbany. And up next, in just 5 minutes, is Julia Masalska doing an Illustrator Daily Creative Challenge. Then after that, we have Lena and Julia Masalska again doing branding and identity design. Then we have an Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge with Peter Del Tondo, a draw along with Cal T. Webster at 2:30 p.m. Pacific, and then we'll end the day at 3 p.m. Pacific with Design Off with Voodoo Val and Claudie from Print My Soul. I just want to say thank you, everyone, so much for joining us today. I hope that you enjoy the stream, these last two streams. Just really quick, Amina, because we have like less than a minute. Where can people find you? Best place to like get information about what you're doing, keep up with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm most active on my Instagram. My username is the Caffeinist, and my website, you can access my web store, my my music soon come, as well as, you know, just most of my work. And you can get in touch with me there as well. My email is available. Anytime anyone wants to chat about, you know, what they can do in their communities, feel free to reach out. We can start a conversation. I share a lot of resources on my Instagram as well as Twitter. And yeah, I just want to keep everyone updated. And yeah, just follow me. I'm pretty much the Caffeinist across all platforms. But yeah,
Awesome.
you can find me through my website.
Thank you so much, Amina.
Thank
It's
you.
been a pleasure. Thank you, guys. See you guys tomorrow. We're running late. Bye.
Bye. See
Bye.
ya.
See
Thank
you.
you.